Hello everybody, Megazord Xer back at it again to give y'all another very exciting video. And for today's video, yes, the time is upon us. It's either already upon us or it's about to be here in a moment though. But yes, I am talking about the Nintendo Direct, or the supposed one that usually happens in September. You know, if we were to look at history tends to repeat itself, and there's been a long track record of Nintendo Directs that happen in the month of September. So I don't know by the time this video drops if one's already been announced or there's just a lot of buzz going around. I just decided to go ahead and drop it out early though, but I might as well go ahead and, record the thoughts right here and right now and give all my thoughts and predictions of what I think could possibly show up in the Nintendo Direct based upon stuff that we already know that's kind of coming. Some of my predictions for third-party things as well as some first-party things, just kind of, trying to, stir up into that little crystal ball and try to figure out exactly what Nintendo's over there cooking over there in the kitchen though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Alright, so first let's go ahead and talk about those third-party games that, it's always hard guessing the third-party games with Nintendo Directs, because everybody's always, super excited about the first-party things. So let me go ahead and get the third-party things, at least for what I think, or supposedly I think, has a good chance of being there. Now, we know Team Asano, they've been coming through with all of the HD 2D games and whatnot, though. The one game we heard news about, they hadn't really followed up on it much, is, Dragon Quest 3, the HD 2D, remake for that. That game looks stunning, at least from the very small glimpse that we kind of got from it from the very beginning, though. But we hadn't really seen much of anything on it. I'm thinking or predicting that they're going to go ahead and showcase it off this time and get a release window. I don't know if it's going to be, month, day, year, but at least they can say, spring of next year, summer of next year, fall of next year, something on the lines of that. At least that's what I'm kind of thinking is one of the couple of things that Team Asano might be announcing over here in this, latest Direct over here. Secondly, I think, Level 5 is going to come out with a couple of things. I think they're going to talk about more information on the newest Professor Layton game that we kind of got within like the past Direct. That was just kind of like a teaser. I'm expecting maybe in this one they kind of go more hands-on, give us a little bit more gameplay. So for those that really love this series right there, you actually have some meat to actually eat off of the bone right there. One, we already know that this is coming out. I just think they're going to go back and reiterate on it though. But Persona 5 Tactica, I think it's going to be one that they're going to go back and actually, talk just a little bit more. I feel like we already know quite a bit up on there though, but this is the last time that Atlas is going to be able to push this Persona game out. Obviously, it's probably going to sell the best on the Switch. Maybe then, PlayStation after that though, but this is the last big push that they can do for the game right before the game releases in the month of November though. Now, people have always been thinking, and speculating on this. I might as well mention it while I'm on the topic. Persona 3 Reload. I really wish that game will come out to the Nintendo Switch, but at this point, the fact that, pre-orders have gone up for the collector's edition, standard edition for both the PlayStation and the Xbox versions, I don't think we're going to get that, unfortunately, but, I just have to go ahead and put that out there. I don't expect Reload to be announced for the Switch, or they probably would have done it in the past Direct or whatnot, though. So I guess that's technically a prediction in and of itself. Next, I think, going back to Team Asano, I think they're going to announce another HD 2D game besides the Dragon Quest 3. So I'm thinking, I'm like, we have seen them in the past actually do a couple of HD 2D things at the same time. What they did, Live Alive and Triangle Strategy, both went in the same year. And I think they're like literally probably just like a few months apart. Like one came out in summer, one came out in earlier spring. So it's definitely in them to be able to actually, put out two games on that caliber. So it's just kind of, wondering, how long has the Dragon Quest 3 been cooking in the kitchen, and seeing exactly how long, they've been having that in the kitchen and versus had they been starting up on anything else though. So that's honestly what I'm thinking right now. I think they got something else there. Now, exactly what it is, I would love for it to be Chrono Trigger or something like that, but honestly, I don't see that one happening. I think it'll be something else that we hadn't seen get localized that Square Enix had, or I guess, Squaresoft back then, though, that they had possession of that never made it over here to the West. I think it's going to be one of those kind of games. All right, so that's basically all the third-party stuff I had. Sorry, it's not like a big, long list, but that's just a few things I have a feeling that could be a decent chance of showing up, though. But, it's really hard to predict those. But now let's get into the fun topic that everybody and their mama likes. Yes, first-party games. So we'll start it off with some, expectable things, and then kind of go out from there, and then work our way to the crazy out there predictions, though. So yeah, so starting with the stuff that we kind of already know about, I think they are going to show a little bit of a recap of, the Detective Pikachu game, because by the time the direct will come out, it's literally going to be like, what, a couple weeks or so turnaround or something like that, where they actually show off just a tiny bit more. Actually, we got that one in like the most recent Pokemon Direct. Whether it be that, or if it's like in a highlight reel and just kind of reminds everybody, I think it will have some kind of presence up there in the Nintendo Direct itself. All right, so next up, I think they're also going to talk about just a little bit more information on the Super Mario RPG remake. Yes, we got that revealed within like the last Nintendo Direct, though. I'm thinking they're going to go ahead and iterate on a little bit more, maybe showcase off some of the things that actually changed, or maybe some quality of life improvements or anything like that, anything else in between. Because if it's being developed by Square Enix, then I think there's going to be a good chance that they're going to put like some modern day spins up in there. Like they're kind of known for doing like speed ups and stuff of their older classic games, though. But since this is a remake, who knows? So maybe they'll kind of go hands on and kind of give us, some of the new things or changes that we can kind of expect within this remake. Because this is their last time to actually showcase it off in a big way, unless they do like some individual event for it, though. For this game, though. So I think we're gonna get a little bit more in it, though. Now, at some point, and I think they will tie it around, possibly around some of the Mario announcement, though. I think that dedicated video for Charles Martinet and him stepping down as Mario's voice actor and introducing a new one. Let's go ahead and say this. I'll go ahead and say that they're actually gonna talk about that in the Nintendo Direct, because Charles Martinet has been the voice of Mario for so many years, almost literally like 3 decades or so. What grander way for him to go out in an actual Nintendo Direct itself, or make a nod to it, and then at the conclusion of the Direct, then they drop out like an individual video just for him. It's gonna be like a combination of both of those ideas, or one or the other, something like that, though. But the fact that they brought up like, what is it, the movie information and stuff within like a fall Nintendo Direct, I wouldn't put it past them to do something for Charles Martinet in this, though, too. So I'm just go ahead and throw that one out there. And speaking of Mario announcements, though, I think one other thing that could be announced is new Mario baseball game. Because think about it, we had a Mario Strikers, a Mario Tennis, and a Mario Golf game. I just think one of the sports games, especially since we're getting kind of close to the tail end of the this console that we're in with the Nintendo Switch, we can all tell that probably Nintendo Switch 2 is going to, arrive sometime on the scene, possibly as early as next year. I think one of those sports games will be like a quick, easy one for them to, maybe they're already working on it and just, throw it in the oven and take it out the oven and give it to us maybe the early half of next year or something like that. So not a super far out there prediction, though, but I think there's a good chance, even if it's not a Mario baseball game, there's some kind of Mario sports game. I would say that's probably more likely over a new Mario Party, because I think they want to have a new Mario Party for the new system. So that's what I'm thinking right there. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump into some more serious predictions right here. Ones that I have a good feeling that they're more than likely probably going to happen. Or if not now, maybe a little bit later. And go ahead and start it off. Yes, I think a brand new Fire Emblem game is going to probably be announced, and it's going to be Fire Emblem Genealogy of a Holy War remake. I've been hearing some rumors and, some stuff, behind closed doors and stuff like that, that there is a Genealogy of a Holy War remake game in development. And it's kind of been more so about like the timing and releasing and when they want to do it. Because remind you, we technically had Fire Emblem Engage that was released earlier this year. Yes, all the way back in January. So it's kind of timing whether or not they're going to put it out within this window. I think the holiday is mostly set for the most part. So I can see them announcing this game and doing the same thing like Engage and dropping it out within like the first few months of next year. Though, granted, there's a lot of games already kind of coming. Like I got like Grand Blue and Persona 3 coming out in February, and the Prince of Persia 2D game and stuff like that coming out in January. And who knows when Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, like all that stuff is coming out in the first few months of next year. I know it's already going to get a little crazy though, but I'm thinking they're going to do the same thing with the Fire Emblem thing. If not for, around this holiday season, which I think is already tight. I think they've already got it set. I can easily see them putting this at the first half of next year. And this will be one of those announcements that will either kick off the show for the Nintendo Direct, set the tone, go ahead and put that at the very beginning, or it'll be that one more thing at the very end. I don't know where it's going to be placed. My gut kind of says put it at the front and have the one more thing at the end be a little bit different. So that's what I'm kind of thinking and predicting right there. Now let's go ahead and talk about some DLC, because one thing we all know that's, in the background of most people that are, within the ecosystem of this game, yes, Splatoon 3 DLC. I think that side order thing is going to be announced here at this Nintendo Direct. I mean, a lot of people have been looking at the start of the brand new season that started off at the beginning of September today. And some people have been thinking, oh, it's okay. Wish there was kind of a bit more for one year anniversary. Well, I think this is going to be it. We're going to have all the extra stuff up in this iteration of Splatoon right here. I think this is going to be it. I think they're going to have the big wow factor up in this Nintendo Direct in terms of all the new stuff to expect with this side order DLC. Because, you're already able to kind of place your pre-orders and stuff on it, though. It only makes sense, especially since the amiibo for the deep cut are coming out in like, November-ish, something like that. If I were to throw a wild guess, I think the DLC, if it were to come out this year, I think it would be shooting out in that month of November. I think that's a very good, solid release date for that, though. So I'll go ahead and throw that one out there in the universe. And speaking of DLC, while we're going ahead and churning them out there, we might as well go ahead and bring this up. That yes, I also think the last little bit of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC will get revealed in this Nintendo Direct, because it's almost, what was it? I think the window frame basically said by the end of this year of 2023, or extremely beginning early parts of 2024. I think they're going to try to release that DLC for Mario Kart out around this holiday season, give a nice little surge and push for selling Nintendo Switch consoles and stuff like that, because that's the game that will never stop selling. So yes, I think there's a good chance for them to actually go through and actually drop that DLC. Now, whether or not they blow it out and show every little thing, or they just show us like a couple of few courses and then say expect more information a little later, and then maybe late October or something like that, then they actually go through and show all the courses. That's kind of the way how they've been liking to do it. I'll stay more so on the latter than more so on the former though, but regardless, we'll get the last little bit of information for the DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some NSO, because we usually always get some kind of update, usually, whether it's, every September or almost every other September Direct or whatnot, though, we usually get some kind of update for the NSO service. I don't think you're going to get really any big updates for the NES consoles and the Super Nintendo. That's still going to be the slow drip feed like we always kind of, expect from them though. So where all the meat and potatoes is where the Game Boy for the basic tier stuff lies, as well as the N64 and the PBA games where that lies for the expansion pass tier. So I think for the Game Boy ones, I think we'll get another slew of things, and they'll kind of show that little graphic of what to kind of expect from this point forward to, they'll say something on the lines of 2024. Yeah, because actually, even if the new system drops in 2024, they're going to roll the NSO service over. So it's still, whatever we're seeing right here, will easily probably be able to run and do the same stuff on that next generation system. So I'll just expect them just to say 2024, keep it keep it true, and go ahead and say, hey, all these things are going to come out between now and 2024. So I think they're going to do the same thing for Game Boy. N64 gets a little bit interesting because they're getting to the very tail end of like all these different games that they kind of went through most of the games that they kind of wanted to go through that most people want. Top of my head, the only N64 games that I would like to see, you start to get into some rare stuff, and that's between your relationship with Rare, with Microsoft, and that's almost another whole topic for another day though. But like Diddy Kong Racing, I'd love to see that. I'll also like to see Donkey Kong 64, and they still haven't even brought Smash Brothers 64 over as well though. So think there's a lot of cool stuff that they can do with that. Though they're limited with the the good cool number of games that you can put for the N64. There's still some out there, especially once you get into the rare stuff. I would love to see Conquer. I would love to predict that. But you know how Conquer is. Like, there's just no way that they're going to be able to actually pull that one out. It's a little bit unfortunate. But man, I would love to see it though. Dang, they have to raise the age rating and all of that. Gosh dang it. All right, yeah, so we're going to get a bunch of the N64 games, that's for sure. And then GBA games, they're going to show another little graphic for that, roll that over into 2024. There's a lot of GBA games that they can actually go out and choose. For some odd reason, I don't know why. I would love to predict this as well, but I still don't think they're going to do it. The Pokemon games, between, Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, as well as Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. It'll be great to see those up in there, but you're more than likely going to see those in a Pokemon Direct, kind of like how they did Pokemon Stadium 2. They revealed that at the most recent Pokemon Direct, as well as the Pokemon trading card game. So if we're ever to get those games, that's going to be in a Pokemon dedicated Pokemon Presents. So probably not at a standard Nintendo Direct, unless it was like around the E3-ish time zone. But yeah, so I think that's going to be it in terms of the basic stuff for NSO games with the old retro games. And while we're on the topic of NSO, I think there's one game everybody's been thinking, Legend of Zelda games, and thinking, there might, somebody threw this out there in the world as a rumor that, there's something else Zelda related that could be happening, or announced later this year. I've been taking that with a grain of salt, but the only thing that's really been kind of coming to mind, considering the fact that we had Tears of the Kingdom that came out earlier this year, and I would predict that there would have been Tears of the Kingdom DLC, because we still got the Ganondorf and Zelda amiibos coming out though, but the game developers actually came out and said, no, we put everything we wanted in the game, so there's not going to be any plans for DLC. So unless they're, trying to psych some people out, we have to go ahead and close the book up on that one though. The only other Zelda thing that could make sense that wouldn't directly compete against Tears of the Kingdom is Tears of the Kingdom hadn't even gone in its holiday season yet. It's still kind of fresh. I would say there would be a thing that kind of is featured around, kind of similar to, Tetris 99 and Pac-Man 99 before they shut that one down. And do like an NSO part where you're actually able to play Four Swords Adventures online with your friends. I think that would make a ton of sense and would drive the subscriptions a lot on that, because I would love to go down and sit and play with all of them. Because it's complicated to actually get all your GBAs, come up to a GameCube, and then be able to do all of that stuff. Or even if you're trying to do that stuff off like an emulator with Dolphin or something like that, it's complicated. It's not the easiest process. I have played the game with my brother. It is a phenomenal game though, but it would make so much sense for them to actually do that and have that as an NSO perk. And if not an NSO perk, I could do that as a standalone release. And I want to think, since that game heavily relies on multiplayer, I want to think that would directly compete with Tears of the Kingdom, and they could technically have them out within the same calendar year, because we always know they like to, release, a new Zelda game every single year though. So I think that one is for sure a good shoo-in. And while we're on the topic of Legend of Zelda, I'll go ahead and throw this one out here though. I think we're gonna actually get some announcements of some new GameCube games, GameCube ports, GameCube remasters. I have a handful of lists between like a few of them that I'm just kind of juggle. So I'll just go ahead and just say the few that I've been thinking on my mind. Everybody and their mama's been thinking about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. When are we going to get them? I do not think that's going to drop out this year. That's something you will save the early part of next year, considering how we just came off of Tears of the Kingdom. It's going to be a hot minute since you're going to have another 3D Zelda game. So you want to kind of stretch that out a little further down the road. So I would say if they were announced in this Nintendo Direct, they wouldn't be coming out until 2024. So I'll just go ahead and put that out there though. So, just kind of keep in mind with all of that though. But in terms of some other GameCube games, I really do think that Metroid Prime 2, Echoes, I think that will be the shadow drop GameCube game that drops out within this Nintendo Direct. Because it's been interesting because, we look back to the February Direct, we had Metroid Prime Remaster that managed to drop out. And then if we looked at the, around the summertime Direct, we actually had the Pikmin 1 and 2 drop as a shadow drop. So I'm thinking they're going to keep rolling with the punches on these GameCube shadow drops. So I'm thinking Metroid Prime 2, I think the pacing is just right where they can drop that, maybe then drop Metroid Prime 3-1 around the fall time, and then if for some reason Nintendo Switch 2 comes out and holiday and they launch it with Metroid Prime 4, I think the pacing would have been just right to kind of keep people, I guess keep them shoehorned along. That way they can kind of get caught back up with the series, and this, it makes sense when that Metroid Prime 4 finally drops. And no, I'll go ahead and throw this out here. No Metroid Prime 4 in this presentation, not even brought up. Even if they go ahead and shadow drop Metroid Prime 2, they're not going to ever bring that up. Not until it's actually day and date with the month, day, and year. They're just not going to do it. All right, and lastly, we come down to the last two things. They're a little bit more off the cuff. More than likely, probably not going to happen. But I still got to try to, bring them and summon them up. It ain't a prediction video unless you throw out some of your craziest stuff out there, though. So let me go ahead and throw it. I don't even think mine are kind of that crazy, though. But one of them is, I think we're going to get a new DK game announced. I mean, granted, if it were 2D, it kind of doesn't make sense because you have Mario Wonder coming up. So I don't think 2D would be necessarily the right timing for it, like a Donkey Kong Country game. But a new 3D Donkey Kong game, that could be very well possible. If it were that could be technically your one more thing that could be showcased off at the very end of the video. I said maybe it will start off with Fire Emblem Genealogy of a Holy War, and it could actually end with a new 3D Donkey Kong game. Like, that will actually make a whole bunch of sense. Be 2D, but it will have to obviously be 2024 at that point, though. But that would make a lot of sense. Or. And I really, really, really want to summon this thing so badly. Can we get a Kid Icarus Uprising port, remaster, sequel, something for the Nintendo Switch? And then not for the Nintendo Switch, it could easily be the Switch 2. I kind of hoping that at this point in the game, it's not for the Switch, and it would have been like something that comes out in the first year of the Switch 2 or something like that. But something Kid Icarus, I think there's just a lot of potential in that series, and it's just untapped. The fact that they started it off on the 3DS, I think it sold fairly well, but they just hadn't messed with it since then, though. Sakurai did a lot of great stuff up in there. I would love to play that with some modern controls, holding the game halfway up on your knee or something like that. I would love to see it, though. Oh, shoot. I think we're long overdue for a new game in that series, though. But man, oh man. I can dream, can I? I can dream. So that just about sums up all the predictions that I have in terms of this, this Nintendo Direct that I'm expecting to drop sometime this month of September, though. And y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts and predictions for the upcoming Nintendo Direct? Was there something that you're kind of thinking of that I hadn't thought of? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Or do you agree with some of the stuff I have to say? I think out of this list I'm looking at, I think I got at least 10 of these things and everything I mentioned, even the stuff we kind of already know and that's they're just going to reiterate on. I think I got at least 10 of these suckers right. At least. Probably more like 6 or 7 or something like that. But I think I can get 10. I think I can get 10 though. But yeah, that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you happen to really like this, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So hopefully, if this Nintendo Direct happens, to happen, then obviously expect some other videos on the channel, me going through and talking about all the great stuff that could be potentially revealed in this showcase though. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.